Today we're going to be looking at how to add integers. Specifically, we're going to be looking at how to add a positive and a negative integer. We have a couple of examples that we're going to work through together here, so let's get started. For question number 1, we're being asked to calculate the sum of 12 plus negative 4. So clearly here we have two different signs. And as we can see up top here highlighted in yellow, in order for us to solve this, when we have different signs, we're going to subtract the lesser value from the greater absolute value, and then we're going to use the sign of the greater absolute value in our answer. So the first thing that we need to figure out here is the absolute value of both 12 and negative 4. And a number's absolute value is that number's distance from 0. So for 12, well, 12 has a distance of 12 from 0, so we're going to write our 12 down below. And then for negative 4, well, negative 4 has an absolute value of 4. And the reason that it has an absolute value of 4, because it doesn't matter if the number is positive or negative, positive 4 and negative 4 have a distance of 4 from 0, so the absolute value is going to be 4. So now that we found the absolute values for the numbers provided, we're going to subtract the lesser value from the greater absolute value. So we're going to be subtracting 4 from 12. Well, when we subtract 4 from 12, we get the sum of 8. Now we just need to figure out what sign this 8 is going to have. And we'll remember that we're going to use the sign of the greater absolute value in our answer. And 12 here was a positive, so the 8 here is going to remain a positive 8. So when we subtract negative 4 from 12, we get the answer of positive 8. Now, in case that's a little confusing, let's just show a different way of how we got to this answer. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to draw a number line here to help us make sense of what we just did. So we started out at 12, so our starting point here was 12. And now we're going to be adding negative 4. So since we're adding a negative number, we're going to be decreasing the value of that number. So we're going to be moving 4 spaces to the left because we're decreasing the value of 12 by negative 4. So we're going to just go with 4 points here. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 11, 10, 9, and 8. So as we can see, that's how we got to our answer of 8 because we had to decrease the size of 12 by 4. Now moving on to the second problem here, where this time we're being asked to calculate the sum of 2 plus negative 5. So we'll remember from the first problem that the first thing we need to do is figure out the absolute value of both of the numbers we've been provided. So in this case here, the 2 has an absolute value of 2, so we're going to write that down below. And then negative 5 has an absolute value of 5. But we do have a bit of a problem here because we need to make sure that we're subtracting our lesser value from our greater absolute value. So we're going to rewrite this problem so that we can subtract our lesser value from our greater absolute value. So we're going to swap places for the 5 and the 2, so then we can subtract 2 from 5. Well, that's going to give us 3, and then now all we need to do is we need to figure out the sign of our answer. So we need to figure out whether or not our greatest absolute value was a positive or a negative. Well, the 5 here had the greater absolute value, and that 5 was a negative, so our answer is going to be a negative as well. So when we add 2 plus negative 5, we get the sum of negative 3. And just so this makes sense, just like we did before, we're going to draw a little number line here just to help us out, and then we're going to start off at the spot of 2 because that's our starting point. And then since we're adding negative 5, we're going to be decreasing in value. So we're going to be moving to the left 5 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now that we start to label them, moving to the left, well, we have 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, and lastly, negative 3 when we move 5 spots to the left. So hopefully by now you understand how to add integers, specifically how to add positive and negative integers. Help make math less complicated by smashing those like and subscribe buttons. As always, enjoy today's math journey.